All right, this is your creation. My name is Starseed Bey. Today we're gonna look into some uh, interesting things. Just on observing or viewing um, how you view life. Do you allow life to control you? Um, do
All
you
right.
realize? Oh,
This
I
is
hear
your
myself. Hold on a
creation.
sec.
My name is Starseed Bey. Today we're gonna look into some.
There we go. All right. So anyway, so we're gonna be observing um, how do you observe life? How do you view life? Do you allow life to control you or the world to control you? Or do you realize the potential that you have within the world and the change that you can make within the world? That's what we're going to be talking about. I am going to go ahead and plug myself here first thing and then we'll get started. I'm still trying to learn how to do this, so yeah, bear with me. It's up on Facebook, you can't see, but so anyways, if you guys want to help me out, you can visit my YouTube site. I've been making YouTube videos since 2011. A lot of interesting research within those videos. All my videos are designed for research purposes only, and yeah, so yeah, I definitely have a lot of stuff on YouTube. And you can also check me out on Facebook. I got two sites, my private site and then also my public site. And my public site, what it's designed for is to, share my live videos, but it also allows you to have a one-on-one talk with me if you'd like. I do also offer a basic spiritual awareness and healing session. I've still been debating on how I want to run that, but it is there. It's definitely a starting point, and I'm going to actually uh, move, make it grow even more. I'm planning to make a school out of it, which I've been talking about the past couple of videos. So yeah, so definitely head on over to Facebook, and definitely subscribe to my YouTube channel. And yeah, that's pretty much it for now. Let's see. So yeah, we'll go ahead. Let me get this transition back here. Getting the hang of this thing here. But yeah, so anyways, yeah, so I watched the movie Ready Player One yesterday. Um, the movie was okay. I mean, it was okay. I think it was more for a visual presentation. But as a whole, what really interested me about the whole concept is is the awareness, that the world is designed to keep you in a box. The world is designed to keep you in a box and to kind of create your own little things or your own little world, and stay trapped within it. Stay trapped within it. Because I mean, you look through any kind of environment that you're in, you're in some kind of box, right? You're in some kind of box, whether you go to work, in your household, uh, windows, gaming systems, even bookshelves. I'm looking at my bookshelf right now. It's all square. And what's within the square? I got trade paperbacks of comics and movies. Things like that. And everything is just kind of a personalized box within your world, including the Bible, including books. Books are square too, right? And you open up the books and you kind of allow yourself to be swallowed up within the creative reality of the creator, right? A creative reality of the creator. And you can really observe that into the real world, right? The real world. That's what Ready Player One was all about, was escaping the real world. That the world was too boring. The economy crashed. There just wasn't nothing left for the world. So I created digital currency, and you could actually go bankrupt within that digital currency. So the way that they punish people is they would put them in the another cube or box, put them into the digital world, and work in the digital world to earn back their digital currency of their debt, their digital currency of their debt, which is where the world wants to go to, is all digital, digital currency. So it's quite fascinating. That movie really kind of sparked this video and looking at different different areas or ideas within that environment. Let's see here. All right. Definitely give me a shout out in the chat room. Make sure everything's sounding okay. But yeah, it definitely got me interested in a lot of things. And let me go ahead and put some of these videos up on here, or pictures. Here. There we go. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and read some scriptures to kind of, look at some things a little differently. I always like to bring scriptures into play because, despite on how you view the Bible, the Bible is a tool used within our daily lives. Whether it comes across with politics, war, religion, fighting amongst each other, adultery, sin, ego, all of these things, even worshiping idols is a big one in the Bible. All of those concepts, all those concepts, drive this world, and we're allowed to pick and choose the games that we want to play. Pick and choose the games that we want to play. And I made a video a long time ago. I think it was still in the 2011, maybe 2012, about on how you can use all these folders. You can view the world as folders, and you just click in a folder and choose. Say, hey, I want to go work at this job. Hey, I want to go be a pastor. Hey, I want to go be a doctor. Hey, I want to go be an astronomer. Hey, I want to be a healer. Hey, I want to be a movie director. Just little things like that. We get to pick and choose what kind of game we want to play. And same with emotions, same with your personas. We really kind of pick and choose the personality that we create for ourselves. The personality that we create for ourselves. And a lot of times we get so mesmerized within the game, that we feel it's real. We feel the emotions are real. We feel the judgment or depression settles in, or struggling within life. We really feel it's real because it is real. It's just like a video game, is that we go through trials and tribulations, and we have to figure out the puzzle of what this trial and tribulation is. We have to figure out the key components of why it was created in the first place. We have to go and level up. So we have to level up our sense of awareness, our sense of wisdom, our sense of knowledge of the environments. We have to meet people, which could be a sense of going in a battle, right? Because we're meeting people, we're meeting positive people, we're meeting negative people, we're meeting people who need help. We're also going to people needing help, aiding us within our path. And at the end of the trial and tribulation, we go against the final boss. And if you leveled up, you have knowledge and wisdom, you can fully get prepared, right? You got all your potions ready to heal you when you get hit down within life, right? Because there's always that hit down moment of boom, you're not good enough, or boom, why do you think this way, or boom, I don't want to be your friend no more. Things like that, it boosts your energy down. It boosts your energy down. So you got to be able to have some kind of potion, some kind of potion. And I've always talked about, Christ is my foundation, the anointing within you, that time you pray and meditate is that cleansing moment. In RPG games, you go to the inn, you go and uh, spend some money and sleep for the night, and it fully rejuvenates you. It fully rejuvenates you. And we have to do that through life. We have to go through a rejuvenating process of letting go what the battle was yesterday, right? We have to let go of the battle that was yesterday, which is that sense of forgiveness. So that we can be renewed, restored, and continue forth into the new journey. Continue forth into the new journey. And that's just kind of the platform that we live in. And it's really becoming a third person perception on that element, a third person perception on that element of being aware of what's controlling you. Don't allow the world to control you. Christ said it best, is don't follow the ways of the world, for it will corrupt you, it will deceive you. But I am the way, I am the truth, I am the life. No one goes to the Father except through me. Christ always said to go within yourself, to discover the spirits within you, the ancestors within you, the healing process within. Because humans will corrupt because of their beliefs and their faith. And that goes a long way because, each person has their own perception. So when they create a church or a ministry or some form of doctrine, it's created by that person. It's created by that person. So their own personal perception is the doctrine that they teach you. It's the doctrine that they teach you. So, we really have to look into all of these elements of what humanity is teaching you, And we have to choose these kind of games to learn and grow within our life, With me going to church, I learned a lot about, the limitations of it because I had a lot of questions. The pastors couldn't answer me on the questions I wanted. And I always felt empty after I left. I never really felt a sense of the Holy Spirit moving through. I felt like there was something missing, because, when you left church, it was just, oh, hey, how's it going? How are you? And then, say goodbye. And that was church Sunday, right? That was church Sunday. A whole hour and a half spent listening to a sermon. Sometimes it hits you in the heart and we're like, oh, hey, man, I was going through that. I relate with that. Other times you were just like, man, that was a waste of time. I didn't really learn anything. I have more questions still than I had before. Yeah, I don't know, man. It just, it's so very fascinating on how this world is built upon creation. Because that's what we're designed to do, is to create. And that's kind of what Ready Player One was all about, was creating a world, creating a world to escape in, a lot of times, people have anxiety disorders, huge ordeal right now, with anxiety. People can't talk to somebody without feeling an anxiety or a panic attack when they talk to somebody. Someone is pouring their heart out, crying their heart out to their friend, but they can't deal with it in the physical world. But in the texting world, they can handle it just fine because there's no interaction, no communication. It's all digital, so there's no kind of backlash. You can just not. If you don't care about it, you just don't text back, right? And that's so cold, man. That's so cold. And that's the way it was in the digital world. You meet all these avatars, and it really, it wasn't them. So say if you were a 500-pound person, right? A male 500-pound person. Well, you go into the video game, you can be a 120-pound female, right? Whatever kind of avatar you want to choose. You're not you're not happy in the real world, so you can choose a different avatar and go, hey, this is how I really feel. Don't pay attention to the real me because the real me don't matter. So you're just gonna just pay attention to the avatar, you know, and it's fascinating. I mean, this digital world is going to continue to build into something more. Even the gaming industry, it's kind of rough. Really watching the gaming industry grow. I loved old Nintendo and Super Nintendo. And some of the newer games are great too. But I like to be able just to watch it on a TV and control it with a controller. I don't want to have the TV right in front of my face, and then I have to move myself all over the place. That just to me is bizarre, let alone unhealthy. I mean, you know, we were taught, hey, don't sit so close to the TV, and now you got these virtual reality things that are just right in front of your face. I mean, that can't be good for your eyes at all, man. And with all that radiation from that, uh, it's not good. It's not good. It's definitely unhealthy. I can't even talk on the phone right here without getting a massive headache right away. I'm always on speaker. So I'm always having my phone right here talking, so everybody and their dog can hear the conversations I have with people on the phone. So yeah. So anyways, yeah. There's just so many things you can talk about with this matter. But let's go ahead and read some of these scriptures and go forth, because there's a lot of good ones here. There really is. Let's see, what do we got here? So we'll go ahead and just read up on these concepts. So John 17:14 through 16. I have given them your word, and the world has hated them, for they are not of the world any more than I am of the world. My prayer is not that you take them out of the world, but that you protect them from the evil one. They are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. And it's very interesting too in how Christ says, I have given them your word. I've given them your word. And it's not the Bible. So many people feel, that when God talks about the word, or God is a word and the word was with God, it is the representation of creation, the power of words, the sword of fire, right? Christ will come onto the world with a sword of fire, with a sword of fire. So it's the power of words, how you present yourself, what kind of vibrations you're sending out to the world. You can be a negative person, and that's the kind of words you're portraying to the world. And when you follow the ways of the world, you're listening to other people's words or other people's magic spells that take place within our daily lives. So it's, the power of words is powerful. Me making videos, is the power of words. It's going to relate with you or it's not. It's because it's based upon where you're at in your life. Let's see, John 15:19. If you belong to the world, it would love you as its own. As it is, you do not belong to the world, but I have chosen you out of this world. That is why the world hates you. Again, so many people struggle with depression of, of being judged, of being hated, being abused. So many people try to be accepted within the world, and that's never what the world is about. You're not meant to be accepted unless if you give your soul away. Unless you give your soul away for money, for fame, for fortune, then yeah, you will be accepted. But is it worth the price? Is it worth the cost of your soul to be accepted or be a celebrity within the world? Be a celebrity within the world. It's not. The most precious and valuable thing in this world is the soul, is the spirit. And I've talked about this, many times. This gets a little dark and deep, but a lot of these people who gain fame and fortune end up not being happy at all, because their whole private life is gone. Their whole private life is gone. And a lot of times, they search for their soul again. They go soul searching. They want to rekindle a loving life, but they can't because they have sold their soul. They have sold their soul. And you look into other elements of, like, ET beings and stuff like that, and how the soul is fascinating. Even scientists still try to figure out what the soul is. Scientists are proving that there is a soul, but they don't know the origin of it. They don't know where it comes from. It's the only term they can really use is just like, when a lightning hits the body, pew, and then life is born. Life is born. But what is the source of the soul? You can never create the soul. You can never emulate the soul. You can create a personality, but the soul can never be recreated. So yeah, it's powerful. I kind of lost my train of thought where I was going with that. but yeah. Let's see, John 8:22 through 24. So the Jews said, "Will he kill himself, since he says, 'Where I am going, you cannot come'?" He said to them, "You are from below, I am from above. You are of this world, I am not of this world. I told you that you would die in your sins, for unless you believe that I am he who will die in your sins." And that's another beautiful parable, right? That's another beautiful parable. It just means, that you shouldn't be scared. You shouldn't be scared to leave this world. You shouldn't be scared of what is beyond this world, because this is an experience. This is an experience. If you get swallowed up in this world, you're going to become prideful. You're going to become arrogant. And you're going to become fearful. You're going to become fearful because you don't want to leave this world. You don't know what lies beyond the realm. What lies beyond the realm of this reality. Right? So many fear tactics, and like I've said, in the previous videos, a lot of people are spiritually dead because they haven't been taught what energy is, what synergy is, and how energy and synergy run this world. Without energy, without synergy, the life would be dead. The life would be dead. You look at light, or you look at water. Water runs off minerals, and it runs off the life of the sea, with fish and fungus and algae and all that stuff. Algae produces oxygen in the water. Without oxygen in the water, everything that is living within the water would die. The currents of the water continue, but if those currents die, the water dies. The water dies. And we have to look at that, that everything is moving at a certain pace. Our blood is constantly flowing. If that blood stops and our heartbeat stops, our body dies. Our body dies. So we really have to look into all of these energy elements. And it's the same way, with the video games. You're running through these video games, and your whole focus is on that video game. You create self-determination, you create willpower, intent of, hey, I'm going to beat this game, I'm going to go to the finish line. It gives you a will and intent. Then you come back into the real world, you don't know where to begin, you don't know what to do, you got bills you got to pay, you got a job you got to go to. So it becomes frustrating, and it's really sometimes a hard world to live in because you're allowing the world to control you, allowing the world to control you. And there's so many different elements and platforms that we can create for ourselves to get ourselves um, somewhat out of that matrix structure. Part of that matrix structure is still going to be there, but at the end of the day, uh, you're going to end up just being a part of the world again. We don't want to throw away the world. This world has never been designed to throw away. We're here to learn, we're here to grow, we're here to develop um, our true potential, or our true self. Our true self. What is our true self? How do we discover our true self? Uh, without discovering what you are, you become the way of the world. Like I said, you were born into a world of programs. You're born into a world of programs to corrupt you, deceive you, and make you forget where you came from. Make you forget where you came from. There was a life before this one, and there was a life before that life, and there was a life before that life, and it continues on. The soul energy, synergy, the flow of life continues on. In some way, shape, or form, we continue on. You look at us like batteries. We're batteries that continue creation on. Continue it forward. When I played Final Fantasy VII, love that game. It really brought a whole new concept of what that meant, of the flow of life. One of the main girl characters died within that game, and they were sad, but she said, that she was going back to the flow of life. She was going to help rejuvenate and bring the world back. And it's powerful because, it means, that you have a reason, and you have a purpose continuously. And when you're in spirit form, the energy form, you move with the energy, and your will and intent becomes even more stronger because you become one and united with all the ancestors. You become one and united with all life itself. That's the power of energy. That's the power of synergy, and that's what we forget when we're in this corrupt world. We forget where we came from. We get so lost and distracted. It's insane. I became lost and distracted within the world. I was born and raised in a Christian home, very isolated from the world. It's not just because of my parents. I chose to as well. I was homeschooled, had no friends or nothing, so I was really unprepared when I became into the world. So when I adventured into the world, I seen the corruption, I seen the sadness, I seen the depression, the abuse, the drug abuse, and all this stuff unfolding before my eyes. And all I wanted to do is just say, God loves you, Christ loves you. But they couldn't see it because they were being abused by their parents. They used drugs as a way to escape reality, and to relate with their friends. This world has such a this world has such a reputation of feeding negativity off each other. They want you to have a bad day, or they want you to talk bad about your job to relate. Talk bad about other people to relate. That's like the bonding that people form with each other. That's what I'm surrounded by. I met very few people in my town, that go, hey, I don't know why people talk so negative about life. And it's just, that's kind of how the world is run. That's how politics is run. That's how the news is run. Everything is run off controversy, conspiracy theories, viewpoints, arguments, debates. All of these things get stuff motivated, but they lose touch with spiritual side of things. They lose touch with the energy, and they lose touch with synergy. They lose touch with the magic of reality, and that's one of the corrupt things that the Bible talks about. One of the corrupt things that the Bible talks about. Stay away from magic. Stay away from witchcraft. Right? It it makes you fall away from what spirituality is. Spirituality is magic. That's the foundation elements. You read on how Christ did things. He prayed, he meditated, he channeled Christ, or excuse me, he channeled the Almighty, he channeled, God, Elohim, the angels, whatever it may be. He used magic, he used energy, he used synergy to connect and communicate with the world, and it's just corrupt, man, and people don't want to look into things, to do their own research. They want to just follow some form of doctrine. Go, hey, I want to be a Christian, so you got to follow the Christian doctrine. Hey, um, I want to be a Jew, so follow the Jew doctrine. I want to be an atheist, follow the atheist doctrine. I want to just be myself, so I create my I just be myself manual, right? Which I think we definitely need to utilize those elements of our own manual, right? Our own manual. I've been writing started writing a book. I tried writing one book, but it didn't really click with me. But I've been just kind of thinking more and more about my life path, and realized, that was it. That was it. That's creating my own manual, my own experience, my own perception of things. That's what people want to learn about, of your journey, of your life path. Everybody has an interesting life path and experience, and all the experiences that we go through in life uh, help create and generate a whole new experience. We create our own video game. We create the people that we're going to meet in our lives. We create their own atmosphere and tone within our own environment. We can choose to change that tone. The power of being empathic, the power of sensing people's thought patterns and energies and synergies that surround us. We have that ability to change the elements. I always say, that we can become the virus within the matrix, because we can change it. We can create new antibodies within the matrix to change that matrix, to change the structure. People thinking negative, send that thought pattern of praying and forgiveness, to that energy you're feeling. It's not yours. A lot of times when you feel sad, angry, alone, anxiety, it's not yours. It was not yours. You downloaded it, but it's not yours. It's somebody's, but it ain't yours. So you send healing and forgiveness through the energy currents that surround us. We all have angelic cords. We have energetic body cords that link up with everybody. We could have like 10 cords attached to people. We could have thousands of cords attached to people. And can you imagine, you're subconsciously feeding that energy within you, but you can reconnect or resend that energy frequency that way too. It doesn't run one way, it runs both ways. So when you sense that depression state, or you sense that sadness or anxiety, it's not yours. It's not yours. Send it back, but send energy healing back to it as well. Say a silent prayer, send forgiveness. Forgive them, for they know not what they do. They don't know what they do. A lot of people don't know what they do. They don't know where these emotions come from. They don't know why they go through the things they go through. They don't know what controls this reality. They don't realize, that this whole reality is ran off of magic. It's ran off of blood magic. It's ran off of witchcraft. It's ran off of elementals. It's ran off of all of these elements that the world is unaware of. Man, I mean, just like this town I live in, it's ran off of depression. There's a huge depression within this town that I live in. There's cursed land that surrounds me, right? So, this world needs a lot of healing, I mean, is there a way to uncurse this land? There is, but I can't do it by myself. I'd have to find a lot of uh, spiritual people that know on how to flow energy and synergy to break that curse. This whole world is cursed. It's cursed land because of all of the blood magic and sacrifices that have been put on this reality. It's facts, and people try to deny it all they want. They try to deny it all they want, but that's the way the world is run. And a lot of us are here now. That's why sparked me making videos, is because I've experienced this stuff. I've experienced shadow beings, in tune with spirits that surround me, unseen spirits. All of these things, I've experienced, through my dreams as a child. You know, scarring dreams of being attacked by these shadow beings and monsters and all of these elements, have been there my whole life, teaching me and training me that this world is ran in such a way that the world is blinded by it. The world is blinded by it, and we have to teach the world about this. We have to teach the world about it. Christ hated the churches. He went through the churches and through tables and said, this is not how you become one with your Creator. You do not need a church. You do not need money. You do not need to sell stuff to find God, to find the Creator, to find the Most High. It's always been within you. It is a self-taught, self-exploration to discover the I am. Discover the ability or the potential of what we are. We're energy and we're synergy. These are avatar bodies that we get to use for creation. But this is also a world that is designed to corrupt you, or to see if you will fall for the world. Fall for the world. Man, it's just, it's uncanny to me, and that's why I always say, and people bash this so much, but only 10% of the world of people, 10% of the world are spiritually aware, The other 90% are dead because they follow human doctrines, beliefs, faiths, and they just want to live by their ego or their personas because they haven't been taught that spiritual awareness. Those 10% that are spiritually aware are the ones who have had the encounters, who have had, whether it be ET encounters, spiritual encounters, seen orbs, had vivid dreams of something going on, that's the 10%. And maybe the 10% of those spiritually aware are the real people, and the 90% of the world is just programmed. So maybe we're here just to be tested to see if we can break through the programs. Just a theory, but it's uncanny to me that only 10% of the world gets it. That can see the corruption, that can see it all. But it's changing. The whole game structure is changing because we can see it in the news now. We can see it in the politics. We can see it. We can see it through the military tactics on how this world is run. I talked about the archons. And, I think the government is calling me. I always get these unavailable calls all the time. So yeah. So let me reject this call here. There we go. But yeah, it's the archons. I always thought the archons were ET beings, but it turns out, and I talked about this in the past video. Oh, I do got some people talking in the chat. Hey, how's it going, Fractal Truth and Talea? But yeah, the archons is the tactics of running the world. Is the tactics of running a world. You know, you control the money or the banking system. You control the military. Number one thing, control the military, and you control religion or the churches. The three basic foundations you need to create an empire: money, military, and religion. You got that, man. You're set. You're set, man. You're gonna run the world, and that's exactly uh, what the Europeans have created, or the Roman Empire has created for itself, right? America seems to be the safe zone for the military tactics of this world. America as a whole is the United States. Excuse me, America is separate from the United States, but the United States is a business, and the United States is the military structure of this world, right? Military structure of this world. The banking system, um, as far as I know, is run more off the European system, right? The European system, and then of course we got the religion aspect of churches, which is ran by the Vatican. So that those are the three dominating factors. You got the cartel, you got the mafias, and that's what the United States is. It runs off a mafia cartel thing. Look into CIA and Secret Services and how they run their strategies. Is that maintain they maintain some form of strategy to keep things going. They want the cartel to continue to float. They want to be those secret agencies or those secret services that that penetrate and see, make sure that there's no corruption within their military structure or whatnot. You know, finding out about rats. I've learned so much about TV shows, movies, all of these things have truth within them. I've learned so much from movies and TVs shows than I ever have through my whole research exploration that began in 2010. Sons of Anarchy is a good example of learning on how the cartel work and learning on how rats and moles work within tribes or within those kind of environments, right? You learn on how investigations um, go through as well. You investigate on where this rat is, where this mole is, right? And that's what I always tell people. I mean, don't it sucks you have to live like that, but I always go by the words DTA, don't trust anybody. You have to live by that. Why do you have to live by that? Because you don't know if someone's an agent. You don't know if someone's against you. You don't know if someone's spying on you. Um, you have to just be aware of that on the sidelines. Don't let it consume you, but you have to be aware of it on the sidelines. That this world is huge. It's ran by forces that the human mind cannot even fathom, cannot even grasp. You're not supposed to even you're not even supposed to even be aware of that the world is ran this way. But that's where the starseed concept comes in. That's where it's talked about and how the stars will fall from the sky, right? It's symbolism of the stars falling from the sky. It's that new souls, real souls, are coming down here to change this world, to change the structure of this matrix, that has been ran for over what 2,000 years, ran off of blood magic and lies and all of this stuff, man. It's insane. It really is. Let's see what we got going on here. See, Fractal Truth says, yes, this is what makes humans special, the ability to manipulate the environment. Man, that's very true. Um, and we have to utilize the word manipulation because it can be used in a bad way and in a good way. Manipulation, we use this in our daily lives. Even this video is a form of manipulation because it is designing you to rethink your reality, to rethink on what you're doing, and to research into things that you never thought about, to research into things you never thought about, and that's one of the ideal things you have to be aware of. Is manipulation is part of creation. It's not a bad thing. It's our way of life, right? It's our way of life. Let's see, manipulation through consciousness. Let's see, Talea says, hey Adam, hey Talea. Everyone, I've noticed that if someone is or works in love and honest actions, even if someone takes advantage of you, this will be balanced in spirituality. This is God working within all of us. That's true too. We have to be honest with ourselves. I think that's one of the most hardest things that people go through is a sense of honesty, the sense of self-worth. It really takes a lot to be honest with people, because you're afraid that you may not be accepted into the world. You may not be accepted into the world. I think that's one of the main programs of people coming out of the closet, whether they be, gays or lesbians. I mean, if that's their life they want to choose, that's fine. That's just their exploration of life. But, I think we can really utilize that tool of judgment. That tool of judgment, is that, they love the same sex people, and, you know, that's their life that they choose. But I think that's definitely a good program to test yourself. Are you going to judge them? Are you going to persecute them? Are you going to say they're going to go to hell because they love the same sex person, right? I may not entirely agree with it, but it's their experience, it's their viewpoint, it's their learning. They're learning about something, they're learning something about themselves. And it takes a lot of encouragement and a lot of encouragement to express that form of lifestyle that they choose. That's a tough lifestyle to choose, especially telling your parents, you're not sure if your dad's going to hate you, it's a hard experience and a hard thing to put out there. But it's a part of life, and I've learned a lot about that. I have a lot of friends who are gay and lesbian, and I accept them for who they are, and I learn from them. I ask questions. I'm like, why do you think that way? How do you view it that way? A lot of the conversations I've had with guys, they feel that their body, their male body, doesn't fit with how they feel. They feel that they're a woman. They feel that they want to be a woman, that they express themselves like a woman, right? And it can joggle the mind if you're not prepared for that, right? It's just kind of like a culture shock of, whoa, okay, this guy thinks he's a woman, but he's in a male body. And you really just have to observe and go, this person's learning something more. There's something different about it. And I've talked about this before, and maybe the reason why that person feels like he's still a woman is because maybe that past life he really was a woman. Maybe there was some past life trauma, maybe, he suddenly died, he had kids, but, as a woman, right? He was a woman in his past life and she had kids and everything like that, died suddenly and then reincarnated into a different form, right? But because when you go through the proper um, awareness of past life healing, that residue from that spirit is still there. That regret is still there. So you still feel like you are part of that person that you were attached to in the past avatar body. The past avatar body. And that's what's missing in this world is all of those things. We're taught in this world, that we live once here, we die, we go to heaven or hell. Right? We've been taught, the term hell. Uh, and that's it. We go with our loved ones, that's it. But they miss out on all of these other things, of past lives, of being on other planets, or of just being on Earth before, it's insane. I mean, we're just not taught any of this. We're taught to just follow the ways of the world and the programs of the world. That's it. Just follow the programs of the world, and that is it. Military structure tactics. Lead the way, and they will follow. Lead the way, and they will follow. Listen to your, listen to your sergeant, the marshal, or the leader, or um, the manager of a company. Listen to them. That's it. You sit down, do your role, shut your mouth, and just do what I say. Go home, do it all over again. Go home, do it all over again. Your opinion doesn't matter, right? Your opinion doesn't matter. Follow the doctrines, follow the books. That's it. That is it. And that's the world where we live in. That's the world we live in, and it's so frustrating, man. It's so frustrating. It is. Oh, and that's where we're learning these baby steps slowly but surely. Again, welcome in 2010. The spirit guides and elders, ancestors showed me all of these elements, and you know they gave me the task of I have to explain this stuff, right? Baby steps, baby steps. I've really had to hold myself back, honestly. I've really had to hold myself back because during the times I was making the videos, the world was very negative about spiritual concepts. They were very negative about meditation, um, about the chakras and things like that. It was very demonized at that time frame. So every time someone tried to look into meditation or third eye or the chakras, they kept getting negative things. Oh no, I ain't gonna fall that, man. I don't want to have demons possess me. They missed the whole point. What is meditation? Meditation is going deep within yourself. Of course you're going to come across demons. Of course you're going to come across shadow beings, because that battle of heaven and hell is happening within you daily. What do you think all of that stuff you're going through is? What do you think all that stuff of not forgiving yourself happens within you? You just push it to the side. Oh, this past trauma in my life, I'm just going to lock it away and never tell anybody about it. No, what happens is that when you lock away that trauma and abuse and close that door, you're making the thought pattern starve. So it feeds and feeds and feeds upon your fears and your neglect of not forgiving that. So it creates its own shadow, and it creates a manifestation of evil. It creates a manifestation of negativity, and it will just continue to grow within you. And that's why people get hit with that sudden sense of depression, or that thought pattern again coming back up. Why is this trauma from 20 years ago coming back up now? And it hits you hard. And you're like, man, I can't deal with this. I can't deal with this. But that's the problem. You have to deal with it. You have to learn to forgive and accept that it's a part of you. It's never going to go away. Those scars that you have within your life, will never go away. It won't. You have to learn to accept it and forgive it. Allow it to become one with you, so that shadow being doesn't manifest out into something ugly, right? To something ugly. And again, blood magic, witches, warlocks. I'm learning a lot more about witchcraft, especially if it has been done within your bloodline or within your genes. You're attached to it. The reason why, if, one of the things that I've realized, is that, some of these dreams that I've had is because I have native within my bloodline, right? Native within my bloodline. People who have native bloodlines um, have a more spiritual connection, have a more spiritual connection. So whether it be a cursed bloodline or witchcraft bloodline, it's attached to you. So you're more spiritually tuned. That's kind of what I have been figuring out through research with witchcraft, is that that's what happens. If they're into voodoo and things like that, it continues on. It's part of the bloodline. So it's attached there. That's why, it's so important to realize as each generation is born, like I have kids, right? As each generation is born, you can heal the bloodline, so, that cursed bloodline is no longer there. And it's rough. It's rough. I watch my kids all the time because of the dreams that I had. You know, um, I'm not too sure if they'll have the dreams that I had. So far, they haven't. I mean, my kids will tell me dreams they have, but a lot of times, it sounds a little over exaggerated, and they'll just continue on. So, I really feel they don't have the dreams that I've had. Thank goodness, because my dreams are very scarring. But it happened for a reason. It happened for a reason. I wouldn't be the person I am if it wasn't for my dreams. It wasn't for my dreams. If it wasn't for how my parents raised me, A lot of who I am is because of my experiences, and just, you can look into destiny. Maybe my whole life was created already. Was created already, and this is just, the power of choices. There's so many choices and paths you could choose. I was super depressed. I could have stayed in that depressed mode, but I chose not to. But with that thought pattern, it still created that kind of timeline. It gets so deep, man. It gets so deep. But yeah, I'm just starting to babble on here now. But yeah, at the end of the day, you have the power of choice. You have the power of choice to change your life, to change your lifestyle, and to realize that you don't have to accept the world for the way it is. You do need to live within the world, right? Of being aware of the world, being aware of what goes on around your world. Just pay attention to politics, pay attention to the fake news, and realize what's happening behind the scenes, what's happening behind the scenes. Don't ignore it, because what happens if you ignore that stuff is you're ignoring what's happening on an energetic level, on a spiritual level, because this stuff will it will control you in some way. It will control you in some way. So it's like this old saying says, keep your enemies close, but your friends even closer, right? Or no, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. There we go. You want to keep your enemies closer to you, just to listen, to observe, to know what's going on, because the more you're in tune with things, the more you're going to be more and more in tune of what you need to do within your life, and what you need to do with the people that surround your life, right? That surround your life. You can change someone's life. You can change someone's life. You can go, hey, I've been there. I've been depressed. I know what it's like, man. I've had friends who've had addictions, right? I've been there. I can relate. I know what addictions do to people. Um, you just have to grow and mature. Maturity is key. I've talked about maturity. You have to mature at some level. You can't be no 50-year-old person thinking that they're a rebellious teenager. You have to grow up eventually. But you still have to keep that child within you as well. Never forget the child within you. You never were a child, then bring some of that childhood back. Play some video games, read some comics. Uh, Keep some of that child aspect alive within you, that creativity within you. It just depends on, what you want to experience. But at the end of the day, uh, you want to always maintain that child's self. And then you want to maintain that sense of maturity as well. That sense of maturity. Be your child self, sense of maturity. And that's where you need to be. You eventually have to grow out of those teenage years. That was some of my friends. That was some of my friends' parents. Her mother thought that she was a rebellious teenager. Hey, let's go to a party, let's get drunk, let's go do all this. I'm like, my gosh, your daughter is suffering here. And you want your daughter to go to these parties and stuff? Pay attention to your daughter, man. Pay attention to your daughter. And that's just kind of, that's the world we live in. And I went through all those experiences to realize just what kind of world we live in. And that's where it's our job to create a maturity within ourselves, become balanced, spiritually, discover spirituality. Sometimes it takes religion to find a foundation of spirituality. Through all the religions, Christ is in there. Christ is in there. In some way, shape, or form, right? Some way, shape, or form. Christ is in there. I'm the way, I'm the truth, I am the life. Is in all those religions. Is in all those religions. I am that I am. It's in there. It's a sign. It's a sign that you have to look within, discover that spiritual essence within you. So yeah, I'm gonna keep on talking, so I gotta get out of here. So love yourself, keep shining bright. Let's see what Talea says here. I think if someone actively wants to have their third eye open, oh no, now I'm going to talk about that now. The idea is that they have to have a pure heart and nature. Otherwise, it can create more fear or separation. Hey, how's it going, Jay? Jay says non-vegans can't say crap about cannibalism. Non-vegans can't say crap about cannibalism. That's true. That's true. Yep, because every time you tell somebody, hey, you're eating flesh, that's cannibalism. Oh, no, it's not. No, it's not. Flesh is flesh, man. Whether it be animal or human, it all looks the same. We all look the same underneath this skin right here. So, very true right there. But let me touch on this real quick. I could talk about this forever. But third eye opening, right? It's always been open. The only problem is that we didn't know how to tap into it. We didn't know how to tap into the pineal gland, or even know what it is, right? I had to learn what it was. I had to overanalyze what it was. I don't accept what people say about third eyes, and I don't accept what people say about the chakras. It's a personal self-discovery. What I learned about the third eye is that it is a projector. It is a presentation of the Magi Nation. The Magi Nation, magician's eye, the magic eye is within us. It's the power of manifestation of creation. It's a power to talk to, right? This is what I said, it's the ability to walk with the Most High, to walk with the spirits, to walk with the ancestors. That's what I have discovered with the third eye. It's a visual magic eye. It's a way of creating manifestation, seeing things manifest with your thoughts and with your ideas. I talk with ancestors, learning more about self, learning how the spirit realm works. That's what people become in tune with, is their magic eye when they take psychedelics or mushrooms, whatever. Never took that stuff, but from people's testimonies of it, it's the same experience of what I experienced through deep meditation. Through deep meditation, you have the same experience you have with psychedelics and mushrooms, based on testimonies, right? It's the same thing. You're opening up more to it. You become more in tune. And I've talked about this before, is that the ancestors or the spirits will take on a form that will make sense to you. That's why a lot of times if people think they're having ET encounters, it's really just spirits and your ancestors within you, just taking a form to have you somewhat grasp the concept that you're talking to a being, that you're talking to a being of some kind that's teaching you and training you. And it's basically just tapping into the Akashi records or your bloodline. You know, your bloodline has a history, a built-in library within you. That also comes into with the soul matrix, you know, as a whole collective library database that is insane, and you can tap into it. The only way you tap into it is to go within yourself, to go within yourself. It's deep, man. It's deep, and it keeps getting deep. You know, maybe that's what I'll talk about. You know, maybe that's what I'll talk about. I was going to talk about something else today, but I think I'll talk about the third eye again. I think I will. So, I plan to go live here again, hopefully in a couple hours. I'm on vacation, so I definitely got a lot of time. I didn't realize I haven't went live in 5 days, so I'm like, man, gotta be consistent. So yeah. So love yourself. Keep shining bright. Like I said, I should be on again in a couple hours talking about the third eye. So if you're interested in that, definitely stay tuned. So yeah. So love yourself. Keep shining bright. You can change your life. You can change your life. And the whole reason of changing your life is to make your life better. Take care of yourself personally. Discover who you are. Discover what spirituality is within your life. Within your life. Um, it can be totally off the wall to you. You don't know where to begin, but just look into it. Power of prayer, meditation is definitely the start of it. But as you learn to self-develop yourself and learn the power of healing and take care of yourself better, then you can begin to help others too. That's the whole goal, is to help others. Cause a chain reaction within the matrix, you know, become that virus, the antibody within the system to change the world. You want to change the world? It starts with you. Once it starts with you, it will begin to manifest through others as well. So yeah, so love yourself, keep shining bright. I'll talk to you guys later.